W-T-L.
It's time!
W-T-L.
I think we got a show. Oh yeah, we got a show.
W-T-L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are. And, you know, the kids are getting ready to go back to school, so that means the NBA Finals are starting.
NBA Finals.
Little exaggeration there, but
yes,
we are getting into the summer months, and that does mean that the finals are finally set. We're going back to the Garden.
Yep.
Boston Garden, the Celtics are hosting Game 1 against the Dallas Mavericks, the little team that couldn't quit out of Texas. Little team out of Texas.
Yeah.
Thursday night, tonight, 7:30 Central Time, ABC. Your Celtics are a 6.5-point favorite. You got that total sitting at 214.5. You got the hook.
Yeah.
Moneyline Mavericks plus 205.
Yeah.
That's a sexy pick right now.
I like that.
What's your initial thoughts on this one?
Well, my initial thoughts, Andy, of the whole series, I believe the biggest matchup that everybody has to watch out is Kyrie Irving versus Derek White / Drew Holiday.
Okay.
Luka Doncic is going to get his.
Yeah.
Even against a defense as talented as Boston, he's had 33 of 37 point triple doubles in teams just the entire time. So sorry I said that wrong, but the key for the Celtics is ensuring Doncic and Irving do not interrupt like they did in the Western Conference Finals when they shredded Minnesota's top-ranked defense in 5
great
games.
Defense. Really good defense.
The Mavs are 5-0 this postseason when both of their stars go for over 30 points. So that is going to be the biggest thing for them. Fortunately, Boston they have the two, the best defensive backcourt in the world in Derek White and Drew Holiday, who both made second team all defense. So that is my initial thought. For the Celtics to win this championship, that is the biggest matchup for them.
Yeah, and you're kind of like just succumbing to the fact that, okay, Jason Tatum's going to get his.
Yes.
He's been the leading scorer all season long. Same with Luka. He's going to get his for Dallas.
Yeah.
Where these two teams can make some hay or get an edge, it's limiting Kyrie Irving, especially early in games. Don't let him get going.
Don't let him get going.
That's when we saw teams throughout this playoffs have success against Dallas, is when they could shut down Kyrie early.
And it's too late once he gets to the fourth quarter.
Exactly. How many times were Dallas down by 20 or around 20 going in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
And here they come. Here comes this run, and they were just short on a few of those runs there. You mentioned Derek White. He actually leads the team in assists, so he does facilitate. He does, fill a vital role on the offensive end.
No doubt about it.
But defense is what's going to matter most, if I'm hearing you right, in this series.
No doubt. And obviously Boston, an X factor for them is that their offense can't go stagnant. They are so deep and so defensively talented that, but if they go offensively stagnant, we've seen this in earlier series against the Pacers and even the one before that they play really close games with these people, and you cannot play down to this Dallas team. Luka and Kyrie are going to take over in the fourth quarter, and if it's close, they're going to win.
A half a year ago when the playoffs started, they actually lost a game by double digits to Miami.
Yeah.
The
Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics did.
Yeah.
Lost. And what do you make of that? I mean, I feel like there's just way too much chatter about this being the easiest road to the finals ever.
Yeah.
The Celtics took care of business. They beat Miami. I don't care who was injured or who was not on the court.
Nope.
Same with Cleveland. Indiana played above there or whatever. They still beat them.
They still beat them.
They still beat
them. No, everybody's going to say that. When a team doesn't have, star-studded, the big three, the big two, whatever you want to call it.
Doug McDermott's making Sports Center. There's a problem here.
Exactly. No. But, if you don't have a top 5 player on your team in the NBA playoffs, they're going to say that team should lose in the playoffs. Yeah. The only exception that calls to mind is probably that 2004 Detroit Pistons team that didn't have an all-NBA player on their team.
Right.
So...
and it was defense that won for them.
Defense
it was
wins
defense.
For that. So, no, that's what that's what everybody's saying. It's been the easiest path to the finals every year. But guess what? They used to say that every year for LeBron James when he went 10 straight years.
Yeah.
Oh, the East is so easy to go through, all this kind of stuff. So I've heard all that stuff. I don't buy into any of that stuff. My biggest question, Andy, for the Celtics though, is Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah. Where is he at health-wise?
By the time game 1 tips, Porzingis will have been out 38 straight days with this calf strain he has suffered in the first round versus Miami. He was a full participant in practice last week.
Okay.
According to Missoula, the Celtics have the green light to have him out there at tip. So I believe that he's healthy and ready to go. It's just, how much ring rust are we talking about?
Right. And Stephen A. Smith, he said they cannot win a championship without the Kristaps Porzingis.
Without the unicorn.
Without the unicorn,
Okay.
they have no business being in this finals. I'm like, pump your brakes, buddy. I mean, if I was on the show, maybe I would put him in a... No.
Yeah. No.
It happened a couple times to him this
Exactly.
week. Do you feel good about this minus 110, just a run-of-the-mill minus 110, Celtics minus 6.5, or is that too much for you, knowing that Dallas really pours it on late in games?
Yeah, no, I think it's way too much.
Really?
I think this should be closer to a 2 to 4 point
It's
spread.
in Boston.
It's in Boston, but...
Boston just swept.
They did.
They just swept.
They did. No, I think Dallas comes out with a big right hook here and tries to steal this game. This is how you do it in the NBA Finals. You need to get one on the road,
Yep.
and I think that they're rested up enough. Both of them are rested up enough.
They
but,
are.
The big rest for me is Kyrie and Luka getting that rest, and they got it. And now they're going to come out shooting, and if they're on, they're on.
Yeah, look out. Yeah, it doesn't matter where they're at, what court they're at, what arena they're at. And, speaking of more ESPN guys, Scott Van Pelt, SVP, said that last night on his broadcast, like, look, this is way too much time off. For Boston, it might work against them. And for the Mavericks, they get that extra day or 2 to rest up. So does it even matter that the Boston Celtics took care of business, swept their last opponent, Indy, the Pacers, and now you're looking at a scenario where, okay, maybe Kristaps is back, but, he's going to be rusty regardless.
No, for sure. He's still gonna have to get in the flow of the game. He hasn't played live action in a long time. Playing against his former team, same on the other side of Kyrie Irving. Yep. So there's a lot of fun storylines here, Andy.
There is.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I do think it's going to be a close series. There's not going to be a sweep here, Andy. But I do expect I am taking that Dallas Mavericks money line. If you want to take the 6.5 points, take them. But I am taking that plus 200
right
now.
Okay.
Put it in the bank.
Wow.
I love the Dallas Mavericks tonight.
In game one.
In game one.
Well, then Boston would really have to strap it up from there on out, because I just read an article where, they took they had 5 betting experts, and 4 of the 5 had Boston winning in 6. So it's not going to game 7.
Yep.
They're saying Boston can get it done at home when it comes back around. That means they can only lose 1 at home.
For sure. No, I totally agree I've seen a lot of experts pick the Celtics in 6, and I get the reason for it. They do have the better team, but I've been saying this all playoffs long, Andy. When it comes down to it, if you keep games close and those superstars are on the floor, it's going to be takeover time.
Right.
And the Celtics play very down to their competition, and I think they're going to come out a little lackluster Thursday night, and I believe that Luka is going to pounce on them.
That's a good point. They played down to their competition, but it's been working for them so far.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? But you are facing a different animal here in Kyrie. Say what you want about him.
Yeah.
The guy can finish.
The guy can finish. NBA champion.
Yep.
Most people in the world say he's the best ball handler that they've ever seen in the NBA.
Yep.
Some people say that he's the most gifted player that they've ever seen. I'll tell you a big thing for me with Boston. Dallas is an excellent rim protecting team, which could, kind of push Boston into this lazy, bunch of step back threes kind of game. And
Tatum loves that.
They all love it. Yeah. And especially, and Tatum has fallen into this trap before, Andy. The Celtics must move the ball, keep the Mavericks in rotation, force their defense to crack over and over again. So that's a big question mark for me with the Celtics if they're going to be able to do that. And again, if their defense goes stagnant and those guys on the corners aren't hitting those threes, it's going to be tough for the Boston Celtics to not only win game 1, but to win this series.
No, there's a lot of quote-unquote experts that like Dallas in this one.
No doubt.
A lot of the shows that I've been listening to recently kind of go split on this, where Dallas and then half was the Celtics. I like Boston.
Yeah.
It might take them 6, might take them 7.
Yeah.
I would welcome a game 7. Do you have any idea on your MVP odds?
Yeah, the MVP odds right now obviously has Jason Tatum at 1. They're favorite in the series at -120. I mean, that's the bet to make if you want safe money.
Yeah.
Safe money. Best value bet obviously is Luka Doncic +200. Obviously he's going to score the most points in the finals.
Right.
If they win, he's in.
Yep.
I will give you my top sleeper pick, Andy.
Let's do it.
Derek White +3,000 right now.
Derek White.
I just think that he has the ability to score a lot of points, and he's going to lock down one of the best players in the world, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
If it all falls into place for him, and Jason Tatum has a little bit of a rocky finals, they will give it to Derek White just like they gave it to Andre Iguodala against LeBron James when they locked him down, holding him to 30, 10, and 10.
30, 10, 10, got that in there. Just a triple-double.
I'm just saying, that's my top sleeper, Derek White.
No, that makes a lot of sense in that if they're going to win, a couple things have to happen. Yes, he's going to have to shut down Kyrie, first and foremost. And you can obviously see a path where he could play a huge role offensively if Tatum does fall in that trap where he's just leaning on that step-back jumper. Like, no, take it to the rim. Get to the rim. Yeah, I know you got a good J, but no, that's the shot they want you to take. and if that's what's happening, Boston will move the ball around and they will find White.
Yep.
And he could have some big shots down the
big numbers
stretch.
and big shots during the game. So obviously, I'm not predicting that to happen.
Right.
I think
I'm just saying there's a line to it. There is.
Yeah. My overall best play is Luka Doncic +200 Finals MVP because I think the Mavericks are going to win.
Yeah. So do you have a parlay play for Game 1?
I do. Parlay play for Game 1 Thursday night. I'm going with the big 3. I'm going Luka Doncic over 31.5 points. I'm going Kyrie Irving over 23.5 points.
Okay.
Pairing it with that Dallas Mavericks money line, putting $25 on it, winning 165.
There we go. That's how you triple up your money.
Triple up on the Mavs.
Yeah, take some of that plus money. You heard the horn there as we got into that parlay play, so let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. World class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. You know what that stands for. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
You're looking like a lumberjack over there, LeBron,
yes, sir.
with that beard. There we go.
Got the playoff beard already.
The Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Well, we got to talk. I mean, we're getting into June here. Yep. We're in the middle of summer.
Yep.
Let's talk NFL.
Let's do it.
Okay. We're going to talk some divisional odds here.
Yeah.
We got to get on over to the AFC East.
Correct.
The Bills are once again your favorite, and they've won it the last 3 years.
Yep.
And that was before the New England ran supreme. Got a little trivia question here to start off with. Name the last time a team won the division that wasn't the Bills or the Patriots.
What year was it?
What year was it and what team was it? I mean, let's see if you can get it.
Well, Brady, 2002. Let's go 2000 and let's go the Jets.
All right, very close. 2002, the New York Jets won the division, but it was 2008.
Oh, okay.
The Miami Dolphins snuck one in there.
Snuck one in there.
They went 11-5.
Okay.
They were at a plus 2,500. New England would have won it like 25 years in a row had Miami not gotten there and won that one.
Yep,
they snuck in there, and I think the Patriots did that with like Matt Cassell.
Yeah,
and they still won 11 games. It was insane.
Matt Castle.
But yeah, Matt Castle. That's right.
You're good. Same thing.
So I'm looking at a few books here. I got about 4 or 5 books opened up in front of me here. Bills are anywhere from plus 160 to a plus 175. Pretty consistent there. Patriots bring up the rear. And let's start with the Patriots there. I mean, you're looking at plus 1,800, plus 2,500, depending where. FanDuel. plus 2,700.
Yeah.
No faith in the Patriots there from FanDuel.
No, you really can't. Like you just said, they went on that historic run from 2001 to 2019 with 17-time division winner. So they haven't finished above 500 in the past 4 years. Yeah. Bill Belichick is out. Jared Mayo is the head coach, and the Patriots haven't decided who their starting quarterback is.
Drake May, bro.
That is my best bet for the New England Patriots' future. He is at plus money. Future? He is at plus money right now to start week 1. He's at a plus 200.
Well,
over Jacoby Brissett is a minus 260. A lot of people think Jacoby Brissett is the guy.
Yeah.
I don't understand in a rebuilding system like this, why wouldn't you just play the guy that you're going to play?
Well, they don't want to throw him out there to the Wolves, but you spent the number 3 overall pick.
Play him.
Get him as many snaps. I kind of agree with you here, and you know what you have with Jacoby Brissett.
Well,
I mean,
and
you've seen it. We've seen
it. You're
it.
not trying to be good either. Like, you can't be.
Yeah,
you can't be in this star-studded division.
Yeah.
You're not going to be good. Give Drake the experience that he needs against really, really good teams. Plus 200, Drake May start week 1. I love it.
I mean, FanDuel has you at plus 2,700. I mean, get the memo.
Get the guy in the game.
We all got it. We all got it. So if we move up, now it gets really tight. It gets really interesting.
No doubt.
Because the Jets are basically, they're right there. I'm looking at a plus 200, but they are slotted in that 3-hole there. If you take the aggregate, if you take the consensus, they're in that 3-hole. The Jets are tricky because they had a really tough year last year.
Tough start to the year for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Very tough start to the year. But, I mean, Aaron Rodgers went down. Okay, and I was just looking at it. I had the stats pulled up here. It's just insane. They were 30th in passing yards last year out of 32 teams. They were 29th in points scored per game. Less than 16 points per game in the NFL.
Yes.
Everything's geared for you to score touchdowns, multiple touchdowns a quarter. And they couldn't even put
they could not.
2.5.
No, they could not.
And you got to believe that that's going to change very quickly if Aaron Rodgers is back under center.
Yeah, Andy. It's simply put, Rodgers is back.
Yeah.
Will he be able to push him past Miami and Buffalo? Can you trust the future first ballot Hall of Famer to revive this New York franchise?
Seen crazier things.
I have seen crazier stuff, but absolutely not. Andy. This guy is coming off an injury. He's 40 years old.
Yeah.
I hate all the hype that's coming around the Jets because I got into it a little bit last year.
Yeah.
Okay, he coming off some good years in Green Bay still.
Yeah.
He can
MVP years.
He can still do it.
Yeah.
He just got hurt, Andy. Now he's coming into a situation where everybody's saying that he's going to be a contender in this division. I don't believe it. My best bet for the New York Jets, Andy, is for them not to make the playoffs. It's at plus 135 right now. I'm getting plus money for the New York Jets not to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that, cash it at the bank. They are not making the playoffs. There's no way that 3 teams in this division are making it, and they're the third team to me.
And you're just saying, I'm just betting on what happens 9 out of 10 years on average.
Yeah.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Well, since 2002.
Since 2002, so 20 years.
No.
Oh, my God. And on top of that, on the other side of the ball, one of their arguably best pass rushers, Reddick.
Yeah.
He's already come out public.
Hassan.
I'm not going to OTAs not until I get my contract reworked. And we know how the Jets are with this stuff. They're like, then sit out.
Yeah, then sit out.
We've been through this before. We don't care.
We don't want 9.5 wins, and neither does Jared.
So neither do you. So, all right. Well, okay. Well,
that's my hot take on the Jets.
Okay.
I just don't like it. I hope all the best for A-Rod. I just think he's too old, and they don't have enough around him, I don't believe.
I kind of like where you're going, though, with these best bets. So the Patriots' best bet is Drake May to start week 1.
Yep.
And then your Jets' best bet is not to make the playoffs.
Correct.
Here we go. All right. Well, let's move on up the ladder here.
Yep.
And depending where you get this one, Dolphins at a plus 175. You can get them a little bit better.
Yep.
Tied with the Jets at a plus 200.
Correct.
I think there's an easier path here for the Dolphins to get there, right?
No doubt.
Tua knows he needs to stay healthy. He knows he needs to get rid of the ball earlier. A scary moment a couple of seasons ago, right, with the head injuries. I don't know if Odell Beckham Jr. is going to make that big of a difference.
Probably not.
But it's another weapon out there. It's nice to have.
They have 2 of the best receivers in the entire world. They don't need them. If he can make a couple touchdowns, if he can make 5 touchdowns, it's a great season for Odell. So with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek, I'm not thinking about Odell at all.
Yeah, and they picked up Patrick Paul, maybe the best offensive tackle out of the
yes, sir.
What was that, AAC conference or something like that? No, Houston's in the Big 12 now.
Houston, a Big 12 team.
So maybe one of the best tackles out of the Big 12.
Could be.
But anyway, that should help Tua a little bit here.
Yeah.
And they also got an edge rusher, first rounder out of Penn State. So
Correct.
I like their draft too.
No doubt.
And they got all the bells and whistles. They're a fun team, and they were knocking on the door the past 2 or 3 seasons. And I don't know. There's a lot of chatter out there, and you might have saw it last year that the Bills are starting to decline.
Yeah.
That massive contract is starting to that they spent on Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is catching up with them, and this might be the Dolphins' time. I don't know. I mean, they did it back in 2008.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Andy. I mean, the whole thing with Miami to me is even last year they had it and then they lost it.
Yeah.
The Dolphins have finished second in the division back-to-back years, and both of their AFC East losses this past season came at the hands of the Buffalo Bills.
Right. Yeah.
If they could have split the Buffalo Bills series, they would be division winners here, as they outscored the Patriots and the Jets 119-47. Andy, they are absolutely point scorers on this side of the ball. So it just comes down to, can Miami finally overcome Buffalo? The way that I look at this, Andy, is you're not dropping a lot of value by betting on Buffalo in this division,
right?
When you know that you have the outright best team. To me, they still are. I like the way that Miami can score points and all that kind of stuff. But the overall trump card of everything is Josh Allen in that Buffalo Bills defense. So no matter what, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. You're not giving up much value.
No, you're not. No.
So
plus 175 on some books.
Exactly. So I still like the Dolphins. I just don't believe that I'm going to pick them over the Buffalo Bills without that plus money looking me in the face.
I mean, who did they get at receiver for Allen to fill in the void? Or are they still working on that?
No, I don't even know.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's just how much faith you have in Allen. And that defense too. I mean, that gets overlooked because we all want to talk about their offense and how much fun it was, with Diggs and Allen. And quiet secret here, and maybe the secret's out, Allen likes to run the ball. and he's led the NFL in rushing, in the AFC anyway.
Yeah.
And everyone's thinking Lamar Jackson this, MVP and all this stuff. And yes, when he gets out of the pocket and scrambles and makes guys miss, it's jaw-dropping, it's SportsCenter top 10, all those things. But it's Allen who's been racking up the yards on the ground more than any quarterback in the league the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. And I'll just read down the depth chart for the Buffalo Bills right now. Khalil Shakir, Keenan Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Chase Claypool, Mac Hollins. So they do have some.
Bro, are you going to go to tryout day? Are you going to try and get back on there?
Maybe I should try out for these guys.
Redo those Wayne State days, right?
No, but I still don't care. He's the overall trump card. The thing that I have for the Miami Dolphins, my overall best bet for them, I think Tyreek Hill, they will give him the nod this year at Offensive Player of the Year. That's at plus 650 right now. Wow. They kind of overshadowed him with Christian McCaffrey last year. It's hard not to.
Right.
So I do believe that Tyreek can put up close to 2,000 yards again, because they're not going to quit throwing him the ball. So plus 650, I think it's really good odds for Offensive Player of the Year for Tyreek Hill.
I like that too, and everything kind of points at him having another season like he has. And Tua's not going to take his foot off. He's big arm. He can get it down there.
He can get it down there.
All those things.
And he has pieces around him that draw the double coverage off him.
Sure.
You gotta cover Jalen Waddle. You got to cover Odell now.
Yep.
But no, I just like Tyreek. He's going to be explosive this year. Yep. First rounder in most fantasies. So
and it's kind of their schedule. If you look at it, they play the Bills twice. Let's go start right there in the division.
Yep.
The Bills love to just outscore you.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Let's score touchdowns.
Let's score touchdowns.
And
if that's the case, and also there's a voter fatigue.
No doubt.
We've been hearing about Christian McCaffrey for a long time now. Yep. We've given him his flowers. Let's let somebody else. That creeps into this type of a thing.
And that's my best Bills.
Best Bills bet. You have another one?
Josh Allen, regular season MVP. Just like we said, he doesn't have a lot of weapons around him as of right now. He is going to have a big year in this division, and people are going to start talking about it. He doesn't have the weapons. He doesn't have Stephon Diggs. Right. And how is he still winning these games? Plus 850 right now, Andy, I believe is really great odds for one of the best players in the NFL. I still don't believe they can compete with the Chiefs or the Ravens. So I think they will just bend the knee to him. Here's your MVP. Yeah. You've been needing one. Mahomes has one. Lamar has one. Here you go.
Yeah, here you go. And yeah, there's going to be a lot put on his plate, and we've seen it in past seasons where he just kind of tries a little too hard, but he gets the stats in the process.
He gets the stats in the process.
You know what I mean?
It's the Aaron Rodgers effect, is what I like to call it.
There you go. That's nice. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers at the Packers late in his career, giving him those MVPs because he's making it happen without huge playmakers down the sidelines.
Yep, no help around. Yeah, I fully agree with you on that one.
Let's go!
So you heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but we've got to take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are, and we're just running down these NFL divisions.
Yes.
So let's just keep that train rolling.
Let's do it.
Right here, right now, the beast that is the NFC East. And this is one of those divisions where there's, whether it's deservedly so or not, it attracts a lot of attention.
Most fans in the world.
Preseason, postseason, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We got to talk the New York Giants. We got to talk the Eagles. And, of course, we got to talk the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm a little surprised here. I'm a little surprised that the Cowboys are in the two-hole here. Yeah. They're not the favorites to win this division, but that's not where we like to start this conversation.
No.
Let's start from the bottom on up here, and it's kind of like pick your poison.
Yeah,
I'm seeing plus 1,000, plus 1,100 for both.
Should be way more than that.
The Giants.
If you're taking a chance on the Giants, you should be getting paid a lot more than that.
And the Commanders. But yeah, let's start with those Giants right there. There's not a whole lot you can say. I mean, we're mocking the New York Jets and how bad their passing offense was.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? They were 29th and 30th. That means there's a couple teams behind them.
Yeah.
And that was the team that shares a stadium with them. The Giants were 31st in passing yards and 30th in points per game, under 16 points per game.
Can't pass in New York, can't score either.
And their best.
And guess what? Guess what? Their best player just went to the best team in the division. Good job, New York. Good job.
Well, and on top of that, you could say their best receiver, who is their tight end, Waller, he's just like, I quit.
Yeah,
I'm retiring.
I'm getting divorced and quitting.
I'm over it. I know I signed a fat contract, but this is excruciating.
Yep.
I hate this. I quit.
I quit. And Saquon Barkley goes, I go to a contender.
Right.
He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles right now. They lost their star running back. They, I think the plan for them is to roll out Daniel Jones again.
They paid him.
He missed the final 8 games of the season last year, and they ended up turning to Tommy DeVito, Danny's brother, and Tyrod Taylor at QB. Despite being dominated by the Cowboys, New York did earn a win over Philly last season, but
went 6-11, and one of those wins was over Philadelphia.
Exactly, they're 3-3 in the division, which is not terrible, but I believe they go 0-6 this year in division, even with Washington with a rookie quarterback. I believe they are this bad. I think this is one of the worst teams in the NFL, Andy, and that's why my best bet for them is under 6.5 wins on the year.
That's really where it's at?
That's where it's at. Wow. There's no shot that this team can muster this many wins in my brain.
I mean, when you have a rival coach in Sirianni over at Philadelphia, and he caught some heat, and he's making fun of them on talk shows in New York.
We have your best player.
And just straight up trolling the Giants.
That's what they deserve. They deserve that.
It's unbelievable. It really is.
And there are lines on who will play week 1, snap 1.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is at a minus 425, so it's pretty much a foregone conclusion.
Paid him.
But they brought in Drew Lock, another winner. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see this one go back and forth 7 times during the year. The Giants are garbage. They're not going to win 6.5 games. Take that money to the bank.
Well, let's talk about the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins.
Let's go.
Now they're the Commanders.
The football team.
Washington football team.
Washington football
No, I think they're the Commanders now.
Okay, yes.
So anyway, they're at a plus 900, plus 850, but also I've seen them for a plus 1,000. Shop it around, you can get better odds.
Yeah.
I don't like them winning this division whatsoever.
No.
But maybe there is some value there for their over/under. There's for whatever reason, Washington puts together a squad
every single year,
and I'm like, what are they doing?
Except for last year.
Yeah, except for last year, they only won 4 games.
0-6 in the division.
That was brutal.
Yeah,
but it seems like every other year they're winning 8-9 games, and I think they should be only winning 4, but somehow they're winning 9.
Exactly, Andy. And a big thing that I like about this team. Not only their new quarterback, because I believe he's going to be a star, but they just took the Cowboys' most recent defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn. Yeah. How big of a blow will that be to Dallas losing their defensive mastermind? Washington also had the second pick. Like we said, Jane Daniels is now their quarterback.
Yep.
I think it's a new day in Washington, and I think they have a chance at being a wild card team. Yeah. And maybe in a hunt for this division, but I'm not going to go that far.
Crazy things do happen in the NFC East. Yes. It's like a rotating door. Even though Philadelphia's kind of had a run here, we've seen the Commanders sneak up and win that division. I mean, how many times was Kirk Cousins? They're like this guy.
Even Taylor Heineke. In the mix there. But no, Andy, I don't believe that they're going to be that good. But I do like Jaden Daniels. I believe the best bet for Washington for the future is Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels, like plus 650. I believe it's very good value of a guy that's going to get every snap for the Washington Commanders, and I think they're going to put him in good position to win. Good positions to get a lot of stats, anyways.
Not only Washington putting him in like on a pedestal, the NFL is because they try to give storylines to each and every franchise, and we've already seen a lot of hype over Daniels, and rightfully so. I think he is the truth. I think he will have a phenomenal year.
A lot of people think he's the best player out of the draft, and it's hard to argue with it.
We'll see.
So, it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, well, let's talk about that team, the boys.
Yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
At a plus 130, pretty much consensus. Every book I see has them at a plus 130, and it's fun to make fun of the Cowboys.
No doubt.
But they have racked up more wins the past 4 or 5 years than most teams in the NFL. I think we get caught up in I don't even get it. I feel.
Let's just hate. It's America's hate.
I almost kind of feel bad for
them.
It's
Yankee
like
hate. It's Laker hate. It's
if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's like another failure. It's like, dude, they won 12 games.
Since the 90s.
They won 12 games.
Yeah.
And of course, Prescott has to eat a lot of that. Zeke's not there anymore.
He is there.
There. He's
back.
He's back. You're right. Oh my God, you're right. He is back. But here's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I don't like the way Philadelphia finished the season last year, and I don't know if they can bounce back or get back to where they were a season and a half, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys have been pretty gosh darn consistent. I like the Cowboys in this division.
Yeah, Andy, I do think the division crown, figures to be a 2-team race between the Eagles and not just Dallas Cowboys, but Dak Prescott. Coming off one of the best regular seasons of his career. Yeah. He's 4-1 in his last 5 starts against the Eagles, Andy. So essentially, I believe the division could rest on the shoulders of the Dallas QB, and I think he's shown that he can beat this division.
He can.
So I believe the best play here is the Dallas Cowboys. You're getting a little bit better value on them than the Philadelphia Eagles. And I believe, like you said, Philadelphia kind of ended on a little bit of a tragic note, losing to Tampa Bay in that playoff round.
Even the 4 or 5 games leading up to that.
No doubt. But I believe it kind of stuck with them, losing Jason Kelsey, trying to fill pieces with, Saquon and stuff like that. I believe it's kind of just Band-Aid stuff that is really going to show through. My best bet for the Dallas Cowboys is Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year, plus 550. I believe he gets it this year, and just he's going to dominate.
Probably his time.
It's his time. Yep. Plus 550, I believe, is great value for the best player on defense, I believe, in the NFC.
And I'm probably too conservative when it comes to the NFL and the draft and all those things, but I love Dallas's draft. 2 of their first 3 picks were offensive linemen.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we've seen how much success they've had drafting guys out of Oklahoma. Oh, Tyler Guyton, maybe the best offensive tackle in the draft. Get him in the first round, and then they come back and get Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State there in the third round, and then they get an edge rusher. Maybe take some pressure off of Micah Parsons.
Take the pressure off.
There in the second round. I really like what Dallas did there in the draft.
No doubt.
And I think they're trending up where maybe the team we're going to talk about next here, the Philadelphia Eagles, are trending down. So it's not just me hopping on the Cowboys bandwagon, which I've never been on. You know, like I'm a hater too, right? I
me
am
too. Yeah.
But when I'm talking talking betting money here, and I'm talking winning
NFC
this division.
Yep.
I like the Cowboys this year, so let's get on.
I'm not talking about Dallas winning in the playoffs. I'm talking about them winning the NFC East, which I believe is going to happen.
Winning 13 games.
Correct.
Splitting with the Eagles, and then taking care of business against Commanders and Giants. All right, that leaves the Eagles here at a plus 115. You mentioned Kelsey, not there at center anymore.
Correct.
Is that going to be too much of a void? Because we've all been hearing great things about Juergens.
Yeah.
You know, the old Husker.
Yeah, no doubt.
But he was too good in camp last couple of years. Like, we got to get you in. And he's at guard. Do they move him back to center? Where are they at with this? They're probably going to have to move him back to center,
Probably
right?
moving back to center, but I mean, they had the best play in football for how many years with Jason Kelsey with that tush push.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the same thing? You would think it is, just because they have that big offensive line and the very athletic quarterback that is Jalen Hurts.
He's good.
Andy, but I believe that these guys do take a big step back this year. I believe that they are going to be fighting with Washington as the second fiddle to the Dallas Cowboys this year. So
trying to get to 11 wins, trying to get to the playoffs.
Exactly, and I don't think they're going to get there. That's why my best bet for the Philadelphia Eagles is under
There we go.
10.5 wins. I do not believe they get to 11 wins this year, Andy. I know that's a foregone conclusion the last few years for them. I believe it's a big step back for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's nice to shut those Eagles fans up for a little bit.
Yeah, they are kind of loud, aren't they?
They're a little crude.
They're a little crude, but when you
when
get
you're
on
that
top,
good, that's what happens. No, I just believe that they're going to be missing too many pieces, and I believe this is the Cowboys' time to make a run.
And once again, they're going to be feeling that pressure from the Commanders. I don't know why. I just kind of like the Commanders bouncing back here. Only win those 4 games last year.
No doubt.
Had a pretty good draft getting their quarterback this year, and we've seen it before. I just can't get the last 5 or 6 weeks.
5 of their last 6 and getting bounced by the Buccaneers in the wild card round when most people were saying that they were going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
So.
All righty, well, we're getting up against it here, but let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. And we're going to be talking about the UFC.
Yes.
Fight night coming up here. I believe you got the, what do you got over there?
I have the pickle fight. It is a pickle punch to your throat, Andy. This is the best beer for your Bloody Marys this summer. I love it. It's a great baseball beer as well. If you're kicking back watching a baseball game, it is one of my favorite beers that Nebraska Brewing Company puts out, the pickle fight.
And for all you gamblers that like to take the long shots, like to play the odds, there's a spicy one too.
Yeah.
So if you want to get after it, there's a spicy pickle fight as well.
Very good. A little bit too much for me, but in that Bloody Mary, Andy, it is the best. So, 2 great beers there. Pickle fight, spicy.
Spicy. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're here.
Yes, we are. And, I wanted to talk about a little some hits and misses.
Yeah.
And it's really more hits than misses.
Yeah, no doubt.
Coming off last week, you had a killer UFC 302.
Yeah.
Always nice when you're seeing the mat like that or the octagon like that. And give you your flowers here because you had a sweep, 2-0 sweep there, co-main events.
Yeah.
And it went down exactly like you said it was going to go down.
Yep.
Poirier got tangled up.
Yep.
Couldn't get out of it.
Really good fight by Dustin. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to open up, and Makhachev is going to get you.
Submission.
Khabib taught him how to do it.
Yeah.
Submission's going to happen. And in the fight prior to that, it happened just like we were talking about, Andy. Strickland had the better motor. Costa was, getting a little slump there at the end, but it did go 5 like we said it was going to, and submission in the main event. So, it was awesome.
A little impressed with Strickland having the discipline to let that thing just go 5. Wait him out and win by decision, and he did that. And maybe his motivation was to get that selfie with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was that what it was?
That's his idol.
Whatever it was, he did get the selfie with Donald Trump, and he did get the win. And you went 2-0, UFC 302. So congratulations!
It was a lot of fun.
Congratulations to all you out there that tailed JaBron the Parlay Pounder.
Do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again, Andy.
Doing it again for UFC Fight Night. Heading back to Louisville. At the KFC Yum Center Saturday night. We're going to start right at the top of the card. And something of note here. The majority of these fights are middleweights or heavier. And that translates to somewhere between 10 to 15% more knockouts. So if you like to bet those type of props, this is the card for you.
No doubt.
And we're going to start with a couple wrestlers, though.
First thing we're going to talk about is wrestling.
Raul Rojas Jr. in this bantamweight bout against Ricky Turquoise. Both these young men have similar records, 8-1, 13-3 for Turquoise, and they're both coming off wins. However, it's Rojas Jr. is your big-time favorite here. I'm looking at a plus 250 on the Warhorse Casino Sportsbook out of Lincoln and Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. And we remember Rojas Jr. as, the headliner,
yes,
debuting at a ridiculously young age and saying silly things to the media about fighting for the belt all the way.
Sure.
He has been humbled, Andy. I believe he has been humbled. Turquoise, on the other side, is the Ultimate Fighter champion. He's a veteran with a good deal of experience who thrives in wild fights.
Yeah.
He has a really good cardio, Andy.
13-3. He's 13-3.
He's 13-3. He's happy to push the pace whenever the fight goes, and he tends to do his best work later half of grueling battles. So what we're talking about here, Andy, is a guy that has the cardio to go the entire time, and on the other side, Rojas Jr., who wants to end this thing in 15 seconds. He wants to get in there, get him on the ground, submit him, call it a day in the first round. So this is a very good clash of styles here, Andy. Like I said, I believe on paper Rojas Jr. has all the weapons to do this. And the way that I'm looking at these odds right now,
is he really that supreme of a grappler compared?
Yes, he is. He really is to me, Andy.
Okay.
And the best thing on the card for me, Andy, in this fight is Rojas Jr. to win by submission, and that's at a plus 200.
Oh, okay.
The thing that I'm looking at and throwing into my parlay that isn't so crazy, Andy, I think is under 2.5 rounds is at minus 145. I do believe that happens no matter what. Either Rojas Jr. burns himself out and Turquoise gets him, but I believe it will be a first round submission by Rojas Jr.
Going to get him to tap out, going to get the choke out.
I believe so.
And that's vintage. I mean, he's only been in the UFC for a limited time. 8-1, I believe, is his record. But that's how he likes to win his fights.
That's the way he does it.
Get to the mat, get that submission, right?
Yes, that's the way.
Is there anything else to kind of look at this one?
Not
value
this
plays?
one, Andy. I just don't. There's not a lot of value at betting Rojas straight up at minus 250 or 245, wherever you see it at.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a flyer on Ricky, the guy from the United States, you can, plus 200. But I just don't believe he does anything a lot better than Rojas, other than his cardio, and then he could stay until the end of the fight, which I don't believe is going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on up the card then to light heavyweight. We're talking about those big guys.
Yeah.
Dominic Reyes, the 15th ranked contender in the world, taking on Dustin Jacoby. And right here we got Jacoby at a minus 240 favorite, even though he's ranked lower. Not even ranked. I don't think he's even in the rankings right now.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. Dominic Reyes we haven't seen him in a year and a half, Andy. And his durability, if his durability hasn't improved, he might face the same result as his last 3 fights, which is him getting knocked out.
He's at a plus 188 right now.
Exactly, Andy. And the only thing that's a saving grace for him in this fight, which is kind of the reason I think they made this fight, Jacoby isn't a power puncher as he wins by piecing up his opponents. But if Reyes' chin is just totally gone, Jacoby can absolutely get the finish here.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Jacoby at this point in his career, as he's lost 3 of 4, but his last loss was very close.
He's 19-8-1 1 is Jacobia's lifetime record. That's a lot. And a lot more losses as of late, as you mentioned.
Exactly. And Reyes started off his career 12-0. This guy fought John Jones for the title, and most people think he won that fight. But he is 0-4 in his last 4. I think Jacoby uses kickboxing to soften up Reyes and route to a win. Yeah. But I think this is going the distance, Andy, and that's why I'm saying I believe the over in this fight is what to do. Over 2.5 rounds in this fight.
And this isn't a co-main event or anything like that. So it's only 3 rounds. This is fight night. This is not your main event. This is a 3-round bout at the light heavyweight. And
I just don't like either of them to get knockouts because I don't believe that they have the power to do that.
Right.
And I'm getting plus money at over 2.5 rounds at plus 115. I believe it's a great play.
Okay, all right. And so that's your best bet there.
Yeah.
Should we move on up to the main
Let's do it.
event?
This is fun.
This really is. This is your number 4 contender in the middleweight class.
Yeah.
Jared Cannonier. We talk about this guy
Cannonier!
so much. Coming off a win.
Really good name.
Taking off the Frenchman, Emavov, who's 13-4. Okay, he's a worthy opponent, right?
Emanov, yep.
Emanov, but you got Cannonier with the plus money, but not by much. I'm looking at a plus 100.
Yeah, I don't believe Cannonier should be the underdog here, but he is for some reason, Andy.
So you love that plus money.
I love that
Off
plus
the top,
money.
You're right there.
When I'm going into this matchup, Andy, Cannonier possesses advantages in speed, footwork, grappling, and power, while Amanov will be the man, 12 years younger, who is also, 4-inch height advantage.
Yes.
The reach advantage goes to Cannonier, which in essence negates any advantage Amanov's height provides him.
Sure.
So I believe with all that stuff, speed, footwork, grappling, and power,
athletic ability,
I do not believe he should be the underdog here. So that plus money is awesome for me. Once this bell rings, Andy, it will be Cannonier who will be pressing forward as the aggressor, while Amanov will be trying to hold his ground in an attempt to belly and batter, Cannonier. And I don't see it happening.
Cannonier is coming off a win, right?
Yes.
But the last few podcasts or, UFC shows that I've been listening to, they just don't like the way Cannonier's been fighting the last 2 or 3 bouts and how he finished the last time. I mean, I'm saying he's coming off a win. So
off a win. So obviously it's all right.
Yeah.
And obviously one of his last 4 fights, he fought Israel Adesanya, which was
tough.
Probably pretty tough. No, the thing with this fight, Andy, both these men are durable, and a finish by either seems unlikely at this point, I believe, as expressed in the total with the fight coming 4.5 rounds or over, minus 160. So that's most people think this is going the distance. Amanov believes he's ready to take a top 5 position from Cannonier. Cannonier believes that slaying this young adolescent talent will solidify his future claim to a title shot down the road. So
both these guys are thinking this is their path to a title.
No doubt. I believe Cannonier's physical attributes, his mental capacity, his experience, level of competition, all provide him with the right stuff in this, the advantage in this fight. Give me the plus money with Jared Cannonier. I take it to the bank. I believe he wins this fight and wins it pretty heftily.
Okay, all right, Mr. Parlay Pounder. Do you got a parlay play for this?
I do.
All right, let's do it.
I've been kind of shifting it around during this segment, Andy, and this is 3 plus money bets. And I don't usually like trying to do that, but I just love all these plays. So I'm going with the first one that we talked about, Rojas Jr. to win by submission. That's at a plus 200. Okay. I believe it's the most likely outcome of that fight.
It is.
At plus 200. Over 2.5 rounds for Dominic Reyes and Dustin Jacoby's at a plus 115 right now. And my man, Jared Cannonier, just money line, plus 100. Adds all up to plus 1,200, putting 25 on that, Andy, to pay out 325.
Oh, I knew when you said 3 plus money bets on a 3-legger, you're going to get a pretty good...
I mean, it's a shot. This is a parlay, people. Yep. These are plus money bets. I just believe this is the most likely outcome of these 3 fights.
For sure.
Not putting a lot of money on it. $25, but the return can be grand at $325.
Yeah, with your logic, I don't think you're trying to stretch anything out there. It's just that it is a 3-legger.
It's a 3-legger in the UFC. So it's tough.
That's why you're getting upwards of $300 on a $25 wager.
No doubt.
That's where it's at.
Love that.
All right. Well, hey, I mean, I love the odds on that.
Let's do it.
And you've been killing it with the UFC, so what more could we ask for here?
What more could you want from us this week?
All right, well, that about do it for us this week. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page. We're also on Twitter, and if you haven't already, please give us a like or a subscribe, or maybe even both, on our YouTube channel. That has picked up some traction here, and it's always fun going through those comments, interacting with viewers and watchers and listeners of this show.
No doubt. Please give us a follow on YouTube. Also, check us out on TikTok at WTL Sports Betting, putting picks, parlays, whatever you want in front of big matchups just like this Jared Cannonier Fight Night.
There you go. For JaBron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Classen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.